Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today I'm bringing another side-by-side comparison between the iPad Air and the Galaxy Tab 4 10.1. Now there's a lot of differences between these two devices, and today we're trying to find out which one is the best for you. Now although I am called the Android guy, I definitely give credit where credit is due, so let's find out which tablet is best for you in which categories. Now, when it comes to look and feel, these two are definitely different. The iPad Air is, of course, the flagship tablet for Apple. So it's going to take all of its consideration into look and style. So it's the lighter and thinner of the two, really nice backing, which a lot of people have grown to like, and a lot of people love this new style of backing compared to the old iPads. It's just a welcome change. So for that reason, it's traditional, but yet it still keeps the elegance that a lot of people have come to enjoy on the iPad. Now, the Galaxy Tab 4, on the other hand, is a change from Samsung's conventional a bit compared to their regular Tab series. Very thin, although not as thin as the iPad, and again, very light, but not as thin as the iPad. However, overall, it has a really nice construction in terms of definitely having the less slippery feel of last time, and definitely very easy to grip one-handed. You don't have the fingerprint or scratching problems that you do sometimes have with aluminum, but obviously the feel is not going to feel as nice compared to regular aluminum. So overall, I will give the look and feel to the iPad just because more people will love it for its look and feel purposes. Now, when it comes to web browsing, the first thing we always take a look at is the screen quality. The iPad Air does have their Retina display, so it's going to have a 2048 by 1536, which is above the 200 pixels per inch mark at 264. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 4, though, has taken a slight upgrade compared to a couple years ago model, where it's now a 720p display, coming in at 1280 by 800 and having 149 pixels per inch. Let's see which one does better in web browsing. Now, these two are both hooked up to the same Wi-Fi. However, this is a very heavy-based website, so we will see just how well each one does on terms of this website, because it does have a lot to always load. You can see both have different parts loaded in comparing to the other. And again, this is a very heavy and intensive website, so we'll see who wins overall. Both are still loading, and both do have the only tab open, so we wanted to make it as fair as possible in comparing. And as you can see, neither one has a clear-headed victory. It's really both are pretty much the same on this more intense, heavy website. And the Tab 10.1 actually finished first. The iPad is still loading. And okay, we'll move on. The iPad has not finished, and the Galaxy Tab 4 definitely finished before, so that is interesting. Now let's see, how about scrolling? Scrolling is kind of mixed. This seems to be a little bit quicker when scrolling quickly. No, actually they're both about the same in terms of scrolling. iPad has still not finished loading. Let's try pinch to zoom. This one keeps seeming to move a little bit out of focus, but quick when it comes to pinch to zoom. I would give a slight edge to the iPad. Now how about double tap? It's really close, but I do feel that the Tab 4 is just, no, it's about the same. This one moves quicker, but then this one clears quicker than this one. So in terms of, and now the iPad did finish, in terms of web browsing, I would give a slight advantage to the Tab 4, not only for the fact that it obviously did load better and you get the similar experience on both, but the fact that you can have even two browsers open at the same time definitely has to stand out when using the device. Now, when it comes to sound quality, we have two different styles here. The iPad has the speakers coming down at the bottom right here, which is nice if you have it on a stand like this because it will bounce up very easily. On the Galaxy Tab 4 side, it comes on each side, but it is from the side instead of the very back, so I feel it gives a little bit more oomph to it when you're listening to it forward. But let's see how it compares. We'll start on the iPad, then go to the Tab, then go back and forth.
It's kind of crazy how the game is changed. The lights go on, they scream my name. The curtain goes down, I remain the same. But all that money don't equal the price of fame. From LA to New York, Seattle to the Bay, West overnight flights to Oahu, getting late. Yeah, I'm down in Vegas, ain't no rest to stay. Last show in Cali, headed down to the state. I was a boy with a dream, had my head in the clouds. Now I'm sleeping first class, got a bed in the clouds. Hit my pops to pick me up, and he said he was proud. King shit with a beanie on instead of a crown. Yeah, counting on my blessings. Shout out to the most high. Started from the bottom, now I'm sitting at the most high. Cheapsies to the business, now I'm literally so fly. Motivated by my brokenness, guess that's why they call it coach, right? Yeah, back when I was broke.
So, upon hearing a couple different songs, what we've kind of learned is basically the iPad has a better bass, and the Tab 4 has a little bit better clarity in terms of vocals. So it really depends on what your music preference is. So overall, we're going to call this a tie, just simply because both have good style and good quality speakers. Like I said, the iPad would sound a little bit louder on this video when having it on the speaker because it's going to bounce right off. However, when having it in hand, the Tab 4 tended to sound louder. Again, so because of these different scenarios, we will give it a tie on this one. Now, when it comes to watching movies, we always take into account the aspect ratio, which always seems to hurt the iPad. The iPad is still at an outdated 4:3 ratio, meaning it's great for photos, but for watching widescreen videos, it's not ideal. Whereas the Tab 4 fits the screen much better in comparison to the bigger black bars that the iPad will use. The Samsung fills the video much better. So keeping that in mind, let's check out, see which one does better. And again, I always use a Samsung commercial because I know it won't get flagged. So in here we see what essentially happened in most of the video. For one, the screen just fills up so much better on the Samsung because of the aspect ratio. And not only does that play an effect, but always the colors seem to be a bit more vibrant on here as opposed to the iPad. And that was something that was just a little bit off this time. The iPad is much better than other tablets that have compared to the Tab 4. But overall, still, the viewing experience just always seems to feel so much better on an Android tablet. Simply, if anything, because of the aspect ratio, you get more of the movie, and it feels more like a movie watching experience tablet. Now, when we go to the cameras, really both tablets take from their phone counterparts. The iPad has a very simple and easy to use moving feature where you can move between photo, video, and square. Photos do have HDR, which is really nice to see on a tablet. For the Galaxy Tab, you have a few shooting modes, but nothing dramatic compared to what its phone version has. So that's where it kind of faults. And not to mention that the iPad Air boasts a 5 megapixel autofocus camera, whereas the Galaxy Tab 4 only boasts a 3 megapixel fixed focus camera. Why did I emphasize the fixed focus? Well, that means that you can't actually choose your focus, which is really, really bad in photography. So what does this mean? Well, before we go to the front-facing camera, let's take a look at the color reproduction as well as the quality. So in terms of color reproduction, the iPad just seems to do a better job, boasting the yellow more accurately, the green a bit more accurate, and the red, actually the Tab 4 did a little bit more accurate, and the blue, it's about in the middle between the two. But where it really goes down to is the quality. The quality has just been substantially better on the iPad. The iPad just gets the definition much better in comparison to the Galaxy Tab, where it's just fuzzy, especially right here. You can just see how much clearer the iPad is. So for that purpose, the clarity in the rear-facing camera easily goes to the iPad. Now, how about the front-facing camera? Well, the Galaxy Tab 4 doesn't really, again, stand up to it. If you see in the detail, especially on my mustache right here, you can just see much better detail on the iPad Air in comparison. The only trick you have up your sleeve with the Galaxy Tab is that, of course, you can use Beauty Face, which takes all your pores, all that kind of stuff, wrinkles, acne, anything you have, and clears it all up very quickly. But for accuracy and color reproduction, it's definitely going to go to the iPad Air for the camera quality. Now, when it comes to gaming, the selection really is getting closer and closer every day. Most game developers are launching their games at the same time on both platforms. So where does it really matter? Well, in this case, it definitely matters when it comes to the graphics card and processor. The Tab 4 is not a high-end device. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be the best bang for your buck, whereas the iPad is supposed to be the best of the best. And that really plays a fact when going into high-quality games. The Tab 4 just cannot play up high-end games like the iPad can, and there's no getting around it. So for gaming, you do want to go with an iPad. When it comes to battery life, both these tablets do a fairly good job. Both easily get over the 8-hour mark, which we always expect our 10-inch tablets to, but in these two cases, they both typically get from the 9 to 10-hour mark, which bodes very well for a 10-inch tablet. Overall, they both do a really good job upon using and not using the devices. I do tend to see the Tab 4 tend to hold a little bit more battery life when using the device, whereas the iPad Air definitely keeps a better battery life when not using the device. So taking both those into account, and they're both overall good battery life, you have to give this one a tie. Both are good when it comes to the battery life category. Now, when it comes to extras, this again is where Apple falls a little behind compared to other devices. Simply because you do not have any hardware extras, you just have the lightning adapter and that's it. However, you do have Pages, Numbers, and Keynote now, which is important to note. However, in terms of Office Suite, there's a difference here. The Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, I would say, definitely come out to be better for syncing purposes. They just sync seamlessly with iCloud. However, the overall quality of the applications are going to go to HandCom Office in HWord, Cell, and Show. These are definitely almost identical to Microsoft Office in every single way, and pretty much anything you can do on Microsoft Office, you can do on here. And again, it does work seamlessly between typing your documents on here and saving on your tablet, on your computer. However, what else does Samsung offer? Well, they offer a couple of other things. You offer things like Kids Mode, which is really nice if you have a kid and you want to separate your tablet from there. You also offer multi-user capability, which is again really nice, so multiple users can use the same tablet and they're completely separate from each other. Finally, we get to another software feature, which of course is split screen. Being able to use two apps at the same time truly is something very special and something that a lot of people have grown accustomed to for their normal computer experience. But finally, the main thing that gives the Galaxy Tab 4 its edge is also the hardware extras. You do have a micro SD card slot which can expand your memory, which is always nice to have, and I wish every tablet always would. And secondly, you do of course have the ability to also use your tablet as a remote control for everything in your home, including even an Apple TV with this device. So for those purposes, the extras will go to the Samsung Galaxy Tab 4. Now here is where the difference really lies. The biggest difference between these two tablets is going to be the price point. The iPad Air comes with 16 gigs at $499. However, the Galaxy Tab 4 normally priced comes at $349. Yes, it is on sale for $319, but again, we always waive sales because both tablets can go on sale. But it does come in at $349, which means you're saving $150 by getting the Galaxy Tab 10.1, and as we've seen, you get for the most part these similar features on both devices. So for that reason, we do have to give the Galaxy Tab 4 10.1 the better bang for the buck category. All right, let's tie them up and see who won. So when it comes to look and feel, we go to the iPad Air, simply having the better overall look and feel for a device. When it comes to web browsing, the Tab 4 actually takes it, being the surprisingly quicker at loading the web page, as well as overall the same smoothness with the ability to have two web pages open at the same time. When it comes to music, it really is a preference. The iPad Air definitely has better bass, whereas the Tab 4 seems to be louder and have a little bit of a better clarity when it comes to vocals. When it comes to movies, the Tab 4 just beats it, mainly because of its aspect ratio. It just always is more enjoyable on a 16:9 or 16:10 ratio compared to the old-fashioned 4:3 ratio found on the iPad Air. When it comes to camera quality, it's easily the iPad Air. The Tab 4 does not take good photos, it's definitely not its strong point, and the iPad Air takes great photos for a tablet. When it comes to gaming purposes, it's again going to go to the iPad Air. Just for the much better processor and graphics, you have to give it to the iPad Air when it comes to gamers out there. In battery life, we see another tie between the two, just overall giving a really great experience with both having an edge in usage and non-usage. When it comes to extras, we are going to see the Tab 4 pulling away by far, just giving the more bang for your buck in terms of hardware extras and software extras. And finally, when it comes to price point, the Tab 4 comes in at $349 compared to the iPad Air's $499. Because of this, the Tab 4 is going to be the better bang for the buck when it comes to price, saving $150. And finally, when we tally them all up, the Galaxy Tab 4 barely takes it. Yes, simply if you are looking for a better bang for your buck tablet with a lot of extras, good for watching movies and web browsing, you want to go with the Tab 4. However, if you want a more premium look and feel, great camera, and great gaming experience, you want to go with the iPad Air. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please give a like, thumbs up down below. Thank you for watching. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.